This is that plane crash. The TransAsia plane crash. See if you can see the plane bob up and down relative to the bank, as if it's just an image. It does it right at the end, the worst, I think. So, just in case it's fake, just take a look at this one and see what you think. Right there, did it? Right there, did it again? The camera's moving too, but just watch relative to the bank. Relative to the bank, if the camera moves, the bank should move also, but the plane is moving and the bank is just sitting there. That plane is laying on the bottom. It's waist deep, okay? So that might be something, evidence-wise. I've been looking into this now that Jeff C. is having a bird saying it was a real crash. Here it comes. Let's just pause it right there. The story is what they're telling us. One engine flamed out, the right wing, the starboard engine supposedly flamed out. And they believe that the pilots shut the left engine off by mistake. And then they tried to restart. This is what they're saying, okay? You know, that's a good story, but I still don't understand why he does this roll, supposedly if this is a real pilot, why he's doing it. If he's lost control and one of the wings stalls, like, I just don't see how that wing stalled. The left wing, see how it's dipping down there? What some people are saying is that wing stalled because the left engine hadn't been feathered and it was causing drag. And yeah, that would make it roll, but it would also make it pull to one side, and it just appears to be rolling to me. So that doesn't quite add up. If it should really be banking, not just rolling. It's as if he's just rolling the plane over. If you lose lift on one side, yes, the wing will dip, but it'll also pull backwards. That'll make the plane turn on its belly. So wing dip and turning on its belly will turn into a bank. But it just does a roll. And then when it hits the bridge, I don't see any torque on the plane when it hits that so-called taxi and the bridge. There should be a lot of torque on it. Maybe the mass of the fuselage is too great to be affected by that torque. Maybe. I don't know, it's pretty convenient. See, if it's a hoax, they did it in a perfect spot because they supposedly hit a taxi, right? So it's not scraping the road up. Oh, it hit the taxi, broke the wing off. Didn't scrape the road up. Let's see, the road's fine. The only damage is to the railing. The metal cap to the railing got twisted off, and it took this pole, I believe, down. And, you know, and then it goes right into the river. So if it's a hoax, I mean, that's a perfect place to do a hoax. That's all I'm saying. Perfect place to do a hoax. Drop it right in the river. So what I'm saying, you know, if it's a hoax, then there's no plane here. And I don't know, this is like something they did earlier. I don't need to explain their hoax, but the people in the water, that could have been done anywhere. It could have been done there. It could have been done that day. It could have been some other time. You know, if it's a hoax. I'm just saying. So I don't see any reason why this could not be a hoax. The aircraft doesn't seem right to me. The way it's rolling and not banking, it's just rolling. You know, supposedly this guy's a hero, and I hope that's true. And he's trying to avoid stuff and just get it into the drink here and not hit any buildings, whatever. But if he has control of the plane, then he should be able to go straight and level and just belly flop it or nose it in. Either way, you don't have to take out a taxi. So I don't know. I don't want to say everything's a hoax, but this one could be a hoax, even though it's done very well, and there's a lot of good explanations for it. But that stuff with the plane in the water bobbing up and down, you'll have to just check that out. See, I'll put a link in this. I don't even want to do this video, but Jeff C is having a bird. Oh, it can't be. None of the reasons he listed why this isn't a hoax add up. Like, well, there's no reason to hoax it. Okay, first of all, that's never proof. Just because we can't figure out what their motives are to fake these things is not proof that they don't have a motive. Just means we have lack of imagination. Maybe they do have a motive, and we don't know what it is. So therefore, it still can be a hoax. So you have to never use that as an argument. So supposedly both engines are out. Okay, but to me, doesn't explain why it needs to roll like it does. I don't know if this is gonna work. And it doesn't appear to torque when it hits the bridge with the wing. It should cartwheel a little. Maybe it did, and I can't pick it up with my eyeballs. I don't know. This one's really not worth looking into, but Jeff C's having such a bird, I had to see what I can find. And so what I found so far mostly is just the plane bobbing in the water, as if it's just an image superimposed over that water. All right, well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. You check it out. Okay, bye. Let me just explain what I was just talking about with the TransAsia. All right, so the plane's coming in. Let me just do this. We get the right wing, get the left wing. What they're saying is the right wing, the right engine cut out. Poof. Okay. And so apparently they have some button that feathers the prop once you set it, when you take off. It'll feather the prop for you when it automatically. So let's just assume that feathered automatically. So this engine's out. You can still fly that airplane, no problem. But supposedly, this is a story now. Listen, everything they tell you is a story until you know for sure otherwise. The story is that they accidentally, instead of going to shut off the right engine, they shut off the left engine. That's plausible. I can see that as a good accident. I get it. But then this engine didn't feather. That's their theory. Why the wing dipped like that. But if that's the reason the wing dipped, I'm saying that can't be the reason the wing dipped like that. He's coming in. He's coming in pretty straight like this. Supposedly he was dodging buildings, but I don't see that. Just coming in like this, and then all of a sudden he does this, clips the bridge, and then bloop down in the water, supposedly. But my issue is, they're saying that this wing lost lift, and that's why it did that. That makes sense, but why did it lose lift? They're saying because this engine didn't feather. It's a turbo prop, so there's a propeller there. And the prop didn't feather. And that means it's just a lot of drag. So that would slow this side down. And if you slow this side down, you get more relative lift on this side, less relative lift on that side, and you would do this. Okay, but don't forget we're slowing this side down, so there should be this kind of movement too. You don't see any of that. So what I'm saying is it should be a bank and moving basically away from the cameras that we're looking at. But what all you see is that it just rolls. It should be doing this. It should be banking, because this engine is supposedly, according to them, this is their theory, is the drag that's causing the wing to slow down and lose lift. And it should bank. All it does is roll, as if the pilot just went, I'm just going to roll it. That's what I'm going to do. I see that minivan. I hate minivans. Last ditch effort to take out a minivan. That's all I see. That's my issue. And plus, somebody else brought up the point that they made a comparison of the size of the plane, of that kind of plane, at the airport next to a van like the one it hit, supposedly. And it's a lot smaller than what they show you in the video. So that's a good point. Those two are enough for me to go, what? And then it didn't, when it hits the bridge with this wing, first it hits the minivan. And then, okay, the tip apparently snaps off. It's gone, whatever. And then, so nothing's hitting the bridge, nothing's scraping up the tar. It snapped, it hit that minivan, nothing, okay, no mark. And then the next hunk of wing smashes into the railing. All it does is peel off the cap on the railing, and the concrete's fine, okay. But there's no torque to the plane when it does that. It's just like, and then the tail, which is out here, you know, it's extended, and then you get the tail surfaces. You get the rudder and the tail surfaces are right here. Is right about where the wing is, and that clips the light pole. It kind of hooks around the light pole, and that's okay. That all adds up. I thought that was funky, but no, it adds up. So it actually hits at the same spot. The tail surface hits at the same spot that the wingtip, not the wingtip, the now shortened wing hits on the bridge. So boom, boom, takes out the light pole and in. So you do see the damage, but there's no torque. Like, I got a wing, I'm going to hit the bridge. I don't do this. Just a little. I could, you know, you get a lot of mass in the fuselage, the big tube full of people. That's a lot of mass, and I could see this just breaking off and not really affecting that much, but it should affect it some. And I really didn't see it. Maybe I'm just missing it. So that's my analysis of that. So anything, all of that could be faked digitally, you know, CGI. Everything in the water looks like a drill to me. Like, there's no urgency. It's just boats upon boats doing nothing, kind of twirling around. The water is only 3 feet deep. People are swimming, but it's 3 feet deep. You can wade to shore. What are they doing? I don't get it. And then, like I said in this other video that I showed, the wreckage. You got the wreckage here, and then here's the shoreline back here. And of course, the camera is where you are. The wreckage is doing this. It's bouncing around. The camera's not moving. Sometimes it's moving, but if the camera moves, then they should both move, right? But it's just the wreckage does this. It's like it's digitally added into the scenery. Boop, 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 boop. It's doing that. I don't know, maybe that's nothing. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. All the other stuff where the light pole's vanishing. Some people say that's just compression. I don't know. You know, digital compression of the images causes the light pole to vanish. Even though it's in front of the plane, it appears to now be behind the plane. I don't know. I don't even need that for it to look weird to me. So the heroics of the pilot, that's another like Sully Sullenberger. I think that whole thing was bullshit too. now. The heroic pilot, and he still supposedly had his hands clenched on the yoke or whatever it is. These stories are very sensational. Now, if it was me and I accidentally screwed up and I cut both engines off, naturally one of us is going to be trying to start them. But if I'm driving the damn plane, I'm not going to roll it over. There's no purpose to rolling it over and clipping the bridge, because you can just, if I absolutely feel that I have to put it down in the water, I can just nose it in like this. Or I can pull back and the plane will come up and stall, and I will just go just belly flop in the water. You could try that. One of those two. The last thing I'm going to do is roll it over. Let's cowboy this thing. Okay, so not absolute proof, but it just looks odd, so I'll just put that out there. Okay, good date. Screw you, Jeff. There, did it again. There, did it again. There, did it again. There, did it again.